Hi, I'm Steve Bourbon. I'm Assistant Principal Students here at Emmaus, and welcome to the information for the 2021 subject selection. You know, it can be hard in the middle of winter to think too much about the year ahead, especially in the middle of a global pandemic. But just like the sun's going to rise over my shoulder, a bright new year will be upon us soon. And this is your chance to map how that year will look for you. We can be hopeful about our future when we have a vision for how our life can be and a plan for how to get there. Subject selection is how you map the plan, and here at Emmaus, we like to walk that road with you. All teachers at Emmaus are focused on you feeling well and doing well. And the best support for your well-being, the best way for you to be a flourishing young adult, is for your learning, growth and achievement to be strong. It's important then that you're studying subjects that you see connect to the future in life that you want. So I'm now going to hand over to Dr. Keane, who has all the information you need to make the best subject selection choices for you.
Welcome to this brief introduction to moving from Year 9 into Year 10 in 2021. I'm Dr. William Keane and I'll guide you through the basics, and you'll have plenty of other information to assist you along the way. Firstly, the Year 10 program at Emmaus College consists of 14 units, 7 each semester. There are 8 core units or 8 core subjects. There are 6 elective units, and while students have some selections within the core, the 6 elective units are really matters for student choice. You'll note that there are some restrictions and constraints on selective units. We ask that everybody select 2 of the humanities units on offer, but that if you select a language or if you select and are approved for a VCE subject, you will need to take 2 of your 6 selections to do those choices. You've got plenty of information on the college website and on InLink to assist you with the nitty-gritty details of those courses. Firstly, a quick look at the core subjects. Religious education is the common program for all Year 10 students, and it's worth noting that all students of religious education will undertake a VCE unit in the second semester. Everybody does VCE texts and traditions, and that's separate from and additional to any other VC units that students might apply for. English is core and common, and it's worth noting that the English course in Year 10 also incorporates some elements of the English language VCE course, and we do that quite deliberately so that students make educated choices moving into VCE. Naturally, already, any English course has elements of the English literature course already built into it. In science, there's a standard pathway, what we call Science 1 and Science 2A, but some students will be invited to undertake Science 2B in Semester 2. And the important thing to note about doing Science 2B, it really must be for students who don't want to undertake any science in VCE. And a word of warning, that means both biology and psychology are ruled out. Sometimes students think they can still do psychology without a foundation of Science 2A. And then mathematics, there are 4 pathways in mathematics at Year 10, which includes the accelerated pathway, which will fast track students into VCE methods, the pre-methods pathway, the pre-general pathway. The pre-methods obviously leads you into methods at VCE level, and pre-general leads you into general and then further maths at VCE. And then there's the modified pathway, which doesn't really lead you to mathematics at VCE at all. So picking the right maths is very important, and it's perhaps the single most important decision you can make moving from Year 9 into Year 10. If you are interested in and apply for a VCE subject, it's worth noting that these count as 2 selections. Selection criteria apply. And note too that a VCE selection replaces the equivalent Year 10 selection. So if I select, for example, computing at Year 11, I'm excluded from doing Year 10 computing. You've chosen the accelerated subject, so you need to move on. Some students will be granted permission, and again you have to apply for this, to do an additional VCE subject. That is granted only to exceptional students, and all of the important criteria need to be met. And I spoke of the VCE selection criteria. Now that is a little bit trickier this year, moving into 2021. Remote learning has complicated this just a little bit, but we're still going to stick with our broad criteria, and then we might need to drill down into further interviews that we haven't really done in the past. So our selection criteria are a demonstrated capacity for high academic achievement. It is worth noting that it is for acceleration, so that it's not for students who trot along and get C's and D's, or who are not motivated or interested. They'll get their go at VCE when they're perhaps mature enough to cope with the demands of the various subjects. A strong teacher and learning area leader recommendation is important, and obviously this year for 2021 that's a little bit harder to find. We've spent a fair bit of time not in class at Year 9, so though that recommendation is important, it's based on much more limited information than normal. We do suggest that as a benchmark, students should be scoring around about 70 across all of their subjects in semester 1. And again, 2020 is a little bit more complex than that, and we don't have things like semester exams to perhaps fall back on. But we will consider all of those normal criteria in assessing an application. This year we will add in an interview process, which students will be informed about further on. I'm anticipating that some students will be clearly in. They will have done well in their subjects, and they will have strong results that enable them to confidently select and us to be confident in their moving on to VCE Units 1 and 2 in 2021. For lots of students, we might need to drill down a little bit further, and that's where the interview process will be important. If we sum up the electives, and you're guided easily through our web preferences form, because we've made it so that it's largely foolproof, and you really can't do things that you're not allowed to do. But just in summary, students select 6 units, and a reminder that a language, German, Indonesian, Italian, they're 2 selections, they must be done all year. You must select 2 humanities units. Now, if you select a VCE humanities, such as legal studies, business management, history and the like, that will take the place of the humanities requirement, Year 10. You can still, if you're a humanities student, do all of those extra subjects, but you fulfil your requirement in order to, by selecting the VCE humanities. VCE subjects count as 2 selections, and I just reiterate, they are subject to approval. And lastly, you can't select more than 4 of your 6 units from the one learning area. You do need to keep still at Year 10 a reasonably broad education. So if you were to select all 6 from one area, there would be areas, key learning areas that you don't cover. As I've already shared, in terms of the variations, the VCE units supplant Year 10 units, so you can't double up on a Year 10 PE and VCE PE, for example. Some students, if they're granted a spot in a VCE subject and they're undertaking a language in Year 10, they might want to apply for a variation to the humanities requirement of 2 units. If they don't, then the issue would be that they have no other selections. And again, request for any additional VCE subject must be approved, and it's approved by me. So you'll want to make those requests into the future. So that's it from me. I look forward to your selections, and I look forward to interacting with students who have selected VCE subjects or are going to, and hearing from those who have queries. Thank you.
And now I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Rob Mulholland, who will step you through the process of making your subject selection choices.
Welcome to the Year 10 2021 Elective Subject Selection online process. My name is Robert Mulholland, Director of Daily Organisation and Timetabler. Every student will be emailed a personalised link to access the online program. Students can change their selections as often as needed prior to the due date. Once the subject selection process is complete, each student will need to print a signed copy of their finalised program and return to their pastoral teacher. Please note, final selections are due by Wednesday, the 26th of August. I will now demonstrate the online selection process for Year 10 electives only. Each student will receive an email with a link to the Web Preferences page. Please click the link to open Web Preferences. Welcome to your 2021 Year 10 Subject Selection Portal. If you need further assistance with your subject preference selections, a list of contacts has been provided for you. Information on subjects that are available can be found on the Emmaus website. Please note that your final subject selections are due by Wednesday the 26th of August. Prior to this date, you may come back to this link to amend your selections as often as you require. Please ensure that you print your finalised selections and return a signed copy of this to your pastoral teacher. It must be signed by both the student and a parent. Click on Add New Preferences. Year 10 subjects only. Year 10 2021 elective and core mathematics subject selection. At Year 10, the core subjects of RE, English and Science will be automatically added to your program, and there is no need to make these selections here. Your selections below will be for your elective subjects and your core mathematics option. In making your elective selection, please note the following. For this stream, you will need to choose 6 electives from the list below. Your electives must include at least 2 units of humanities. If you choose a language, you must select Semester 1 and Semester 2. Choosing a language for the year equals 2 units. Indicate your 6 elective choices by ranking your selections in order of preference, with 1 being your most preferred. You'll also need to indicate 2 reserved preferences. Please take care in making these selections, as you will be allocated a reserve preference in the event that there are difficulties with timetabling your top 6 preferences. In making your core mathematics selection, please note the following. You are to select one option, which you will study for the whole year. Follow-up conversations may occur with students who have selected an option which seems to be inconsistent with their results. Modified Maths does not appear in the options below. This subject is invitation only. Students who wish to be considered for Year 10 Modified Maths will need to select Pre-General Mathematics at this stage. Any request to vary your program outside of these parameters must be made in writing to Dr. Keane. Now we move on to the elective stage. So if I was a student, I'd start with preference number 1. 10 art, 10 computing, 10 economics, 10 food, 10 health. Now I'm up to my 6th preference. I've only done one humanities so far, so I must choose another humanities subject. So I'm going to choose 10 geography. Now I move on to my 2 reserve subjects. Outdoor education and literature. So once I'm happy with those subjects, I move down to the core mathematics. 2 options, 10 pre-general mathematics and 10 pre-methods mathematics. Once you've chosen your maths, press proceed. This will then take you to your preferences. As you can see, preferences are 1 to 6, and then your maths, followed by your 2 reserves. At this stage here, please note in the right corner here, we have reorder your preferences. So you can actually go back and change the order of the preferences if you wish. If you're happy with that, click on Submit Valid Preferences. This will take you to your final page. This is the receipt that I need each student to print. They need to sign, and also a parent needs to sign. Once this is completed, please submit this to your pastoral teacher.
I will now demonstrate the online selection process for Year 10 electives with a VCE subject.
When you get to this second page, select Year 10 with a VCE subject. Year 10 2021 subject selection with a VCE subject. At Year 10, the course subjects of RE, English and Science will be automatically added to your program, and there is no need to make these selections here. Your selections below will be for your electives and your core mathematics option. In making your elective selections, please note the following. For this stream, you will need to choose 4 Year 10 electives and 2 VCE units, equaling 1 VCE subject. Your electives must include at least 2 humanities, geography, history, economics and civics. The following subjects will also contribute to meeting these humanities requirements. Year 10 Hope Labs, Year 10 Individual Investigation, any VCE humanities subject. This is regarded as 2 units of humanities. Indicate your 4 Year 10 electives by ranking your selections in order of preference, with number 1 being most preferred. If you choose a language, you must select semester 1 and 2. Choosing a language for the year equals 2 units. You'll also need to indicate 2 reserve preferences at the bottom of the form. Please take care in making these selections, as you will be allocated a reserve preference in the event that there are difficulties with timetabling your top 6 preferences. Your VCE selection will constitute 2 of the 6 elective options. Please ensure that you select both Unit 1 and Unit 2 for your chosen subject. To qualify for any VCE subject on offer in Year 10, a student must have an average score of 70 or better in core and elective subjects in Semester 1 of Year 9, demonstrate a capacity for high academic achievement, strong teacher and learning area leader recommendation, and achieved a score of 65 or better in English. Students approved for entry into VCE subject will be reviewed at the end of Semester 2, 2020. In making your core mathematics selection, please note the following. You are to select one option, which you will study for the whole year. Follow-up conversations may occur with the students who have selected an option which seems to be inconsistent with their results. Modified mathematics does not appear in the options below. This subject is invitation only. Students who wish to be considered for Year 10 Modified Maths will need to select pre-general mathematics at this stage. A reminder that any requests to vary your program outside of these parameters must be made in writing to Dr. Keane. Now we move down the page and we move on to the selection of the Year 10 electives. So, First of all, in this study stream, I need to choose 4. So my first preference would be civics. Second, drama. Third, I need to do 2 humanities now, so I've already got 1, so I'll do economics, and I'll do health. Then we move on to the 2 reserves. So choose 2 reserves, literature and media studies. Then we move down to the VCE subject. So computing 1, therefore I must choose computing 2 in the second. Core mathematics, you have 2 options, pre-general mathematics or pre-methods mathematics. Once you've selected your subjects, press proceed. This will bring you to your preferences. So as you can see, there are my subjects in order of preference with my 2 reserve subjects. Please note that if you want to reorder your preferences, just click on the bottom of the right button here, and that will take you back, and you can reorder your preferences. So once you're happy with that, submit valid preferences. So here you'll get to the receipt. Each student needs to print this off. They need to sign. A parent also needs to sign. Then this needs to be submitted to the pastoral teacher.
That concludes the Year 10 2021 elective subject selection online process. Just a reminder to visit the college website for more information about subjects and information regarding the subject selection process.
Well, that brings to an end our subject selection information for 2021. If you have any questions at all, please ask your pastoral teachers, your house leaders. In fact, ask any of us. We'd be all too happy to help. Good luck making your choices, and all the best for next year.